My time growing up in Vermont has given me an enormous appreciation of the woods and wild places. But it's only over these last few years that I've actually been able to take that appreciation and direct it towards something useful. There's so many things to explore right in your backyard. With the help of my professors, I developed a research project that looked to assess the prevalence of a virus which is affecting our regional carnivores. Canine Parvovirus, contrary to its name, can infect a number of species in our area, including coyote, bobcat, fisher, and raccoon. The virus is highly contagious, which means that any animal infected can cause a chain reaction of infections within the area. Many of the species affected are ultimately elusive in behavior, which means you have to come up with some pretty creative ways of evaluating whether they're infected with the virus. Camera traps allow us to assess the community structure, and basically what that means is determining what species are present in the environment and who's interacting with who. These cameras provide valuable information regarding the community structure, but they don't ultimately answer the question of who's getting infected with the virus. My research focused specifically on scat analysis, which means we're collecting fecal samples in the woods and taking them back to the lab to ultimately determine whether the virus is present. Scat locations are marked with a GPS, and this allows us to create a map of viral prevalence. In addition to this, an animal that's infected could shed millions of viruses per ounce of scat, and so by having this map, we can actually determine exposure risk for a particular area or for a particular species. Once back in the lab, the DNA is extracted from the samples and two tests are run. The first test determines whether the virus is present in the sample, and the second test looks to determine what the species is that belongs to the scat. By determining what species are being affected and in what numbers, we can determine whether our management practice need to focus on specific species or on the community at large. It's only when you stop and look that you start to see all this information that's lying out on the landscape that we can take back to the lab and analyze. I have explored topics of virology and genetics and animal tracking and behavior and a whole range of things I didn't even know I cared about just by taking the time to get invested in my own learning. And it doesn't have to be biology either. You are here to learn and to build a repertoire of skills that upon graduation will enable you to make a living solving the issues that you care about. Don't wait to start working on the issues that matter to you. Now is the time to get started.